For today's Tools in 10, we'll be talking about the GI-GE-GY lesson page and when you can teach this pattern in the sequence of instruction. We'll also go over some instructional strategies for teaching the skill and a variety of word study activities that you can use with students who are at different skill levels. Even though the lesson page for this skill is found way back on page 226 of your training companion guide, you can teach it much earlier in the sequence. In the teacher box at the top of the page, it suggests teaching the top part of the lesson as a companion to the CI-CE-CY lesson page, which is found on page 122. Both of these lessons focus on the soft sound of the letter when followed by I, E, and Y. So it makes sense to teach the two skills back to back. Notice that the words at the top of the page are all one-syllable words with GE at the end. Words on the left-hand side follow the vowel consonant E pattern with GE, which is an earlier skill that is taught on the vowel CE and vowel GE lesson page. The words on the right-hand side consist of closed syllable words with GE at the end. So you can use the top portion of the lesson page as a review of vowel GE and then select other one-syllable words from the page that have GI, GE, and GY at the beginning and end of words to develop recognition of the three different patterns that say J. The lesson page starts with simpler skills at the top, followed by more advanced skills in the middle. This middle section includes words and sentences with skills such as bossy R, consonant LE, and lots of multi-syllable words with VCV1 and VCV2 patterns. So if your students have been taught these skills, then you can use this section to teach and practice the GI, GE, GY pattern. At the bottom of the page is a list of words that do not follow the GI, GE, GY rule. They're listed in order from simpler words to more advanced. Select any of these words that align with skills your students have been taught to include in your lesson and teach as exceptions to the rule. Let's start by connecting the new skill to a previously learned skill with a short review of vowel GE patterns using flip cards. In vowel GE words, there is a vowel consonant E pattern with GE saying J. The silent E has two jobs. It tells the vowel to say its long sound and also tells the G to say its soft sound. Students can review the skill by using the flip cards to go back and forth between the short vowel and hard G sound and the long vowel and soft G sounds, as in the words wag and wage, hug and huge, and rag and rage. Next, introduce the new skill. You might say something like this. There are other vowels that tell the G to say J. G says J when it is followed by I, E, and Y. Does this sound like something that's on your chart? That's right, GI, GE, GY, giraffe, J. Let's tap it 3 times. So after tapping the chart, have the students write each of the patterns that make the J sound individually 3 times. Start with GI and write the letters while saying the sound 3 times. GI, J, GI, J, GI, J. Then continue with GE the same way. GE, J, GE, J, GE, J, and finish with GY. Writing each sound individually builds each pattern individually, which is helpful for students who struggle with moving new learning into long-term memory. The writing of the letters while saying the sound helps to map the skill into long-term memory. After writing each pattern, lead the students in arm spelling 4 to 8 words orally and listen to where you hear the J sound and what sound you hear after it. You might say something like, let's arm tap some words with J and listen to what sound we hear after it. Gem. The students repeat the word and arm tap it. Discuss where you hear the J and what sound you hear after it. Note that words that end with J, like cage, do not have a sound after because the silent E is what makes the G say J. Continue to arm spell words and listen to the sound that comes after the J. After arm spelling, it's time for word study. We already used flip cards for the review activity, so I will explain these 4 other word study activities that you can do with students at different skill levels. They include arm spell and write, highlight the skill, 2-column matching, and a word sort. Keep in mind when planning your lesson, choose just 1 or 2 of these activities for that particular lesson. These word study activities focus on simpler one-syllable words from the lesson page. This word sorting activity involves highlighting the skill and sorting words by the sound of G. Select one-syllable words with the soft G sound from the lesson page, and then add one-syllable words with the hard G sound and write the words onto cards. Students will highlight the G, say the correct sound, read the word, and place it in the correct column. You can use the picture squares as a scaffold to start, and later remove them to make it more challenging. For arm spelling and writing, you can dictate words to students to make Go Fish cards, or they can write the words on a blank game board or on a bingo board to play later. If you're working in a small group, students can take turns writing the words for the game cards or on the game board. If you're working one-on-one, the student and the teacher can take turns writing the words. For the bingo boards, each student will write their own words on their boards in an order of their choice. For students who have more advanced skill levels, you can try some of these activities. Students can work with the words in the middle section of the lesson page and highlight the GI, GE, GY, read the words, and divide the words into syllables as needed. After marking and reading these words, you can have them do a 2 or 3-column matching activity where they match syllables to make a 2 or 3-syllable word. For this activity, choose 4 to 5 2-syllable or 4 to 5 3-syllable words that they just marked and read from the lesson page. Write each syllable on a separate card using a different color to designate the order of the syllables, or you can number the cards by the order of the syllables. Students mark the GI, GE, GY, read each syllable, and match up the syllables to make larger, familiar words. For arm spelling and writing, you can dictate words for students to write onto cards for a game of books. Each of the boxes on the lesson page is 1 card for a game of books. You will need 2 more cards with the same words in each box to make a book of 3 for the game. Dictate the words from the boxes for students to make the game cards. You can write the words in the same order on each card or change the order of the words for more of a challenge. If you have a small group, each student can make 1 of the cards for each book. If you are tutoring, the student can make 1 card and you can make the other 2. This final activity is great for developing pattern recognition of this skill for all students and can be done as a review. Here, the student tells the sound that the G makes in each letter combination. Start by having the student highlight the letter directly after the G and say the correct sound, J or G. Students can repeat this activity again, saying the sounds in the same order, or they can start at the end and go backwards or up and down the columns. And that concludes today's Tools in 10 on teaching the GI, GE, GY skill with different word study activities and games that can be used for a variety of levels of skills. I hope that these strategies and activities will keep your students highly engaged as they learn how to read words with these patterns with automaticity.